All right, welcome back. This is the Labor Forum on WRFG Atlanta, 89.3 FM. I want to thank Left Right for calling and upping the guest that we just had and echoing the importance and value that of the information that they brought about their experience. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to our hosts. How are you all doing, Lisa?
All right, thank you. You know, as many times as we hear these stories, each time we hear about the racist repression that occurs, the aggressions that take place by police forces against people of color, workers, and others, the pain just never eases. It just sharpens up again. So I really do want to thank Elaine and Morris for coming in, and Marlon for bringing them here. All right, our next guest is somebody I met a couple weeks ago, and I'm really pleased that we're going to be able to have her here on the Labor Forum. So this is LaTresa Chaney, and LaTresa is a leader among the tenants who live at an apartment complex in Thomasville Heights, and the name of that apartment complex is now called Forest Cove. It's a pretty significantly large set of apartment buildings, and I was able to go to a rally that the tenants organized a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I've heard stories about the conditions of this apartment complex and the issues that the tenants are having. So this story that LaTresa is going to bring us is really very comparable to what's happening in so many apartment spaces that have been affordable, that either are HUD subsidized or that people can afford on their own. That is taking place, and it's another gentrification story, just like what we are hearing about what's happening in Edgewood. So, welcome to the Labor Forum.
Thank you.
We are really happy to have you here. Your story is, you have gotten some television coverage that I saw, but I think that they only give you a couple seconds, yes. 30 seconds at best, and here you're going to have many minutes. So if you wouldn't mind letting our listeners know just what is this long background, both of how Forest Cove has degenerated or has been allowed to you know, just get in such poor condition, and really to talk about the conditions that many of your friends and neighbors are living under.
Yes, again, my name is LaTresa Chaney, and I'm a tenant leader at Forest Cove Apartments, located on McDonald Boulevard. It was formerly, we called the community Four Seasons, but it was formerly Villa Monte. It changed to many names, and I've been there 5 years, and I've been there 5 years. This is my 5th year. I don't know where I don't know where to start. I mean, we haven't had anyone. We have changed management within the 5 years, every year that I've been there. So we're talking about a lot of people having access to a lot of, you know, of the family's private information. And we don't know who. We've reached out to many people, city council, HUD officials, global ministry. We've reached out to Millennium, which is a company that's potentially trying to buy Forest Cove Apartments. And we've been living in these, some of my neighbors been living in these conditions for, I would say, as far as 20 years. I've talked to someone as far as 20 years. And I'm like, how is it that HUD logo is, we're for the families, we're for helping families, but at the same token, you're showing us that you don't care. But you have our Social Security numbers, you have our children Social Security numbers, and they're getting credit for our monies for us being tenants in Forest Cove, but we're living in poor conditions.
Could you talk about a little bit some of them?
Yes, our poor. Some of those conditions are leaky roofs, ceilings with holes in them, floors with holes in them. out-of-date appliances. The appliances have been recycled from apartment to apartment over years, painted, taped up, you know, refrigerators, stoves, they're not working. Stairs are over 50 years old. They haven't came to make sure the wood is okay in the floor, the stairs, the railings are loose. We have railings.
It's not safe.
It's not safe. Mold and mildew. That's a great big concern outside of security. We don't have proper security of our property. You know, as many people around Atlanta have heard, you know, it's a reputation for Forest Cove, which is formerly Four Seasons. I can speak of saying Four Seasons, and a lot of people will understand what I'm saying. But Four Seasons apartment has a reputation of a lot of the children and young teenagers are dying over there. They're getting shot constantly. And I think a lot of that is that we're fed up, but we don't know how to channel that anger out. It's more that we're doing it toward each other. And I just want my neighbors to understand, and the leaders of Atlanta, which is our mayor, our city councils, the officials of HUD, I just want them to understand and listen to our concerns, our pain, our issues. And all we're asking in peace is for decent and safe living. And you're having someone to come and purchase our community just to honor the fact that we want them to honor the fact millennia, if they choose to buy Forest Cove, to honor the fact that we have a tenant association, a tenant organization, and we're speaking for our community. Just even acknowledge the fact that that's in your laws, and you know, as part of being a HUD tenant, we can organize. We have the right to organize and talk. But if you try to shut that down and force us back toward one another, we're channeling that anger and our concerns and our issues on each other, and that's not right. That's not right. And we just want them to honor our tenant association and honor our issues. And you know, I feel like that's a great deal. That, you know, it's an even swap. You still have your residents, you still have, and you still collecting your money. You know, but in return, we're asking for safe and decent living conditions.
You know, I was sitting here listening to you, and decent and affordable housing was a demand of the Black Panther Party back 30, 40 years ago. You know, it was on their 10-point platform. We demand safe and decent housing. And it's a shame that it's been 30, 40 years later, and this is the same fight that we're having. Decent and affordable housing. And it's a human right.
I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more, because this is a kind of a complicated thing. So there's a current owner that says Global Ministries,
yes,
correct? And my understanding is that all across the country, they have allowed the properties they own to decline terribly. Yes. And that HUD has actually said to them, you have to sell these properties because you clearly cannot take care of them. Am I
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then there's this company called Millennial that you understand is interested in purchasing. And there's about, what, 400 plus units there?
Yes.
And it's spread out. It's really a big piece of property.
Yes.
So now supposedly there's a Millennial Corporation, who I don't know who owns it. I don't know all the, you know, who they are. Is it true that they have said that if they buy this property, they're going to spend tens of millions of dollars in renovations?
Yes, that's true. They came. We had a meeting with Millennia, with representatives. So we thought of Millennia, and they came in with this kind of set up army around them to make people feel inferior of even standing up asking the question. So that was one thing that I didn't like about that meeting. As well, Millennia came with a slideshow to show us a floor plan of how things would look if they were to buy the property. That it was just a floor plan and it was just a gesture. Like, just we're going to throw this out there just to, you know, see if we could just satisfy a little hunger in the tenants out there. Which wasn't making sense to me, because I'm like, anybody can set up a slideshow and come and sell you a dream, but they never put anything in writing. So their thing with Millennia was, we're going to call all the residents in once the sale is final. We're going to call all the residents in and we're going to relocate you on property. So meaning that they're going to, well, they didn't say this, but this is what is happening. They're going to illegally evict a lot of the residents over there, move the remaining residents into those old buildings while they renovate. Not demolish and then tear from the ground and clean the ground, because that's what's a lot of what's going on now. The ground is just dirty, it's filthy, and the rats and roaches and everything are returning to the surface to live in our homes with us, and it's not right. But they're gonna move us out of our old buildings and into a condemned building. Their thing was, so when I made a comment about that with the, she said she was the regional manager. I don't quite remember her name, but she's no longer with Millennia when we checked that background on that. So that's why I said, supposedly, these are the people that's representing Millennia that was talking to us. But she said that they were going to build up some type of hotel setting and invite the residents that are staying over there into this hotel setting while they fix up our apartments, and some of the other residents are going to go into the condemned buildings. So we're like, how does that make it sense? It's contradicted, but then it's like, no, we want a full rehabilitation. We want a full renovation, not coming in and gutting out the apartments, but to actually tear them down. They've been up plus 50-some years without proper maintenance on them. Because if they were proper maintenance and they were live, we wouldn't be having this discussion. So,
on your flyer it says right to return. Is that kind of what you're talking about now?
Yeah, yes. That's one of the demands that we're asking for. I'll just give you a couple of them. The right to return, immediate repairs, better security, safe and decent relocation, better communication from management.
So when you say right to return, it should be one for one. That if you're displaced, that you'll go back to a new home and not be moved off altogether.
Yes. So that's what we, for the understanding of the right to return, just, you know, for Millennia to come in and keep their word, you know, as far as making it, you know, safe and livable. But at the same token, you know, we want the buildings to be torn down and rebuilt back up. You know, we want the sanitation of the ground to be, you know, done as well before you build these buildings back up. And that's the thing, we don't understand quite fully the business part of what's going on. Just commonly, you know, living knowledge that's the only thing we understand is that we're being forced out of our homes and no one is stepping up to, you know, in HUD or Millennia, you know, no one in power is standing up to support us as far as, you know, those people go and enforce HUD to enforce the people such as Millennia to keep their property fixed and maintained and safe and in decent condition. And one of those demands that I didn't touch on as well was the better communication from management. We don't have any communication with management. We don't have any management on our property. And if they are there, they're in the office 24/7. And when we come to address our issues to the office, we only get the secretary. And it's like, just write that down. And now they're making copy of our issues. Now they're signing our issues, but still they're not addressing them.
Do we need to take this message? Okay. Well, we'll just keep on with the interview then. Let me ask about, so I was at that rally and trekked with you through the woods to get to the management office, which was of course locked and closed. Yes. And then saw that there were, I don't know, 7, 8 police cars when the tenants were just doing a march to bring a letter with demands that you read to the attention of the management, who, as I said, locked the doors and nobody was there. I wanted to ask, one of the people that spoke at the rally you had was the grandmother of this 6-month-old baby that had been grazed by a bullet fired in some sort of shooting that was taking place outside the apartment of her daughter. And you've mentioned security, and so we also noted that the security that the apartment complex has seemed to be all, when I came, were all up by the, as you all mentioned, hang out by the office. So could you talk a little bit about what it means to be in a secure apartment so that babies that are inside in their mom's arms don't get shot and grazed by a bullet?
Okay, yes, about the security. Well, we as residents over in Forest Cove don't even know if the security is real or not. And we say that because they are going, they're there to protect the rent office. It has been said out of their mouth. They're there to protect the rent office, not us. So they're not the tenants. Yeah, the residents. So if anything go down, instead of security coming first, because I know that they're going to get the call, you know, if they got a police radio somehow, it's all connected. But they're, instead of them coming first to make sure, you know, everything is clear for the Atlanta police to come, they say they can't do anything until Atlanta police come. So that's like, well, what are you here for? I mean, what is your point of being here? To protect the rent office, to make sure nobody breaks in the rent office and get your personal information. I'm like, that's real wild. And speaking on that security, we're in a gated community, but yet we have so many openings in the gates around our community. It looks like prison gates instead of a gate for a family, you know, to protect children. You know, the gates was really supposed to be put up to keep the children from running in the street, because our yards are close to the road. So that's what the gates were supposed to be for, you know, to keep the children from running into the streets. And to keep people, you know, from just trespassing coming in when they get ready. So I was asking, like, why that couldn't be updated to the point of we have better lighting, because it's real dark over there in our community. Better lighting. As far as the gate goes, a gate where we could put a code in. I know all these things are not 100%, you know, cape-proof, you know, and I mean Superman-proof, but it's a start to say that we're trying to, you know, monitor our community a little better for the safety of our children. Because we're in the school zone. Okay. We're in the elementary, right at elementary. And we got all these things going on, so it's hard for the children to concentrate in school because they're worrying about, if I get, you know, when we get up early in the morning to go to school, who's going to be outside fighting and shooting? When we come home from school, who's going to be outside laying on the ground in our parking lot dead? And that's what they had to endure this whole summer. And it's not fair to our children. Our city, our mayor, she knows what's going on. She's from that community. She does. So please, ma'am, please step up. We voted for you because we trusted that you would come in and speak and support the community. And not only our community, but the whole city of Atlanta. When you all took away the recreation centers out of our community, that made our children have nowhere else to go. Nowhere to catch that, you know, that lunch when they get out of school. They're still hungry. because half of the time a lot of the children can't eat because they're scared. Like, they're scared of, if I sit at my dinner table, I might get shot in the head. You know, we got little children running around our community saying things like that. And that's not right for a small child to be thinking like that and be in fear of their life before they even can be reached to be a teenager. And I just want to touch a little thing on our teenagers. They don't have any extra thing. They don't have anything to do. There's nothing to do in our community. Our recreation center meant everything to us. They mean everything to us. They don't have anywhere to go play basketball, baseball. We don't have any more of the you know, little league teams and stuff anymore. We don't have any of that anymore. It's very rare. And it's in the communities that have the resources to fund them. And sometimes the people, the coaches, are coming out their pocket to make sure that the little children can play. And that's sad. That's sad. And it's been going on far too long. And we need somebody empower, meaning Congress, Senate, mayor, state representatives. We need y'all to step up and support us. We're not asking anything wrong. We're not doing anything wrong. But other than, yeah, we're taking out this anger on each other, and it's not us. It's not us. So we're asking for even just, you know, they keep saying, start at your local government. Start at your local. Yes, our local government came from the hood, but she acting like she don't know what's going on. You know, when you get in office, I understand you got a job to do, but as well, one of your mottos is, I'm going to reach back and make sure my community is okay. We need you to we need you to reach back and come and make sure these children are safe and protected going to school, living in a decent home, have food on their tables. A lot just go way, way, way up. I can just go on. I could go in it. Low income, because we don't have any jobs. We have low minimum wage. We've been having $5 for state wages.
Say that.
$5, and a lot of people don't know that. A job can pay you $5 an hour when we got $1,200 rent. That's not equaling up. That's not right. Federal wages, $7, $7.50, $7.25. They still rounded off to $7. And we have $1,200 rent. But you want us to pay market rent, full-blooded rent for where we living at. But you don't want to give us the jobs with the pay so we can pay to have decent living, safe living, affordable living. Please, this go a long way, you know, and it all connects together. It's all together. So if you start, you know, you try to solve one part, but you got this whole big old pie that you got to take care of, and it gets kind of frustrating. But we can't give up. We can't give up, and that's not right. That we have to, you know, get angry and say, you know, give me somewhere decent to live, somewhere decent. That's all you want, okay? Here's the money, you know. Government.
Why is capitalism?
We make money. We burn money. This government burns money, you know, but at the same time, you don't want to pay a family of 4. You want to pay, let me say this, you want to pay a family of 4 $7 an hour, and the mom's not at home, so the baby's lacking attention. So that means that they're out unsupervised to do whatever, get in trouble, but then it all still fall back on the mama. I was that single mom. I am that single mom. I'm still seeing after my babies. They 20 through 17. 22 through 17. I still, you know, still that single mom trying to make sure all my children stay out of trouble. To do right. But they get discouraged as well because they see the unfairness, the unequalness. They see that. But, you know, they don't really have the knowledge of what's really going on, but they know that it's not right. And they see that their mom is struggling every day to make sure that they are fed, clothed, and have somewhere to stay and protect them. Excuse me. So that's a lot. It's a lot on the mom. So the mom becomes stressed out. And that kind of, you know, just telling the whole family, like, we got to start somewhere. We need help. We need support. over in the Forest Cove community.
So, I think all of us here in the station, LaTresa's crying, and so are we. And then, as we said before, so in the last minute that we have, is there a way for people to reach out to the tenant association or any other organization that can assist, that people could help to assist you in this struggle?
Yes. I would like to give my personal email, and that way, you know, when someone reach out to me, I can go ahead, you know, and direct them and to whom they need to talk to. But we have a big organization called Housing Justice League. There's, you know, they're helping, as well as the Atlanta Legal Aid. They help with the parents over at Thomasville Elementary School. My personal email address is LaTresaCater2@gmail, and I spell that out LaTresa Cater CATER, one word, the number 2 @gmail.com. And we need some support. We're trying to reach these head people in HUD that's over our community, and the head people as well that's in our, you know, that's over our community in the city, local government, because management is not answering and are acknowledging us as a tenant organization.
All right, on behalf of all of us here at the Labor Forum, I want to thank you so much for really this impassioned plea for justice. And we are certainly going to do everything we can to make sure that we keep your situation, your story, your struggle on the air here at WRFG. And I guess that's what we pledge to you.
Thank you.
So, listeners, we had a lot of very heavy things today to consider, and that's of course part of the working class struggle as we try to move forward. So we will be back again next Monday, and as I said, Jacqueline Israel from Domestic Workers Alliance will be on air with us next week. Please do stay tuned to all of the great programming here at WRFG.